Imagine a leader who was a brilliant military strategist, a profound spiritual guide, and a dedicated humanitarian all rolled into one. A man who fought fiercely for his nation's freedom but was also praised by his enemies for his chivalry and compassion. This isn't a character from a fantasy novel, this is the true story of Emir Abdelkader al-Jazari, the founding father of modern Algeria. Born in 1808 near the city of Mascara in western Algeria, Abdelkader was destined for greatness. He hailed from a lineage of religious scholars and tribal leaders. From a young age, he immersed himself in the study of the Quran, theology, philosophy, and poetry. He was also a skilled horseman and marksman, embodying the ideal of the warrior scholar. By the time he was a teenager, he had already memorized the Quran and made the pilgrimage to Mecca with his father. This journey was transformative. Traveling through cities like Damascus and Baghdad, he witnessed the vastness of the Islamic world and the growing influence of European powers. He saw firsthand the Ottoman Empire's decline and understood that new challenges were on the horizon. This trip broadened his worldview and solidified his commitment to defending his faith and his homeland. He returned to an Algeria in turmoil. In 1830, France, under the pretext of an insult to their consul, invaded Algiers, marking the beginning of a brutal colonial conquest that would last for over a century. The French army, with its superior firepower, quickly overran coastal cities. But the Algerian interior was a different story. The tribes, fiercely independent and deeply religious, were not about to submit to foreign rule. They needed a leader to unite them, someone with the legitimacy, charisma, and strategic mind to stand against the invaders. In 1832, at the young age of just 24, the tribal leaders of Western Algeria pledged their allegiance to Abdelkader, proclaiming him Emir, or commander of the faithful. They saw in him the qualities they desperately needed: piety, courage, and a unifying vision. Abdelkader accepted the immense responsibility, declaring a jihad, or holy struggle, not against the French people or their faith, but against the colonial occupation of his land. This was a crucial distinction. He was fighting for political and religious freedom, not out of blind hatred. Immediately, the young Emir proved to be a military genius. He knew he couldn't face the French army in conventional battles. Instead, he perfected the art of guerrilla warfare. His fighters, masters of the rugged terrain, would strike fast and hard, disrupting French supply lines, ambushing patrols, and then disappearing back into the mountains and deserts they called home. He moved his capital, a mobile smala, which was essentially a city on the move, complete with tents, markets, and workshops, making it an almost impossible target for the French to pin down. His leadership wasn't just military. Abdelkader began to build the foundations of a modern state. He established a regular army, created his own mint to produce currency, set up weapons factories, and implemented a system of justice based on Islamic law that was fair and applied to everyone. He promoted education and trade, envisioning an independent, unified Algerian nation. He was so effective that the French were forced to negotiate. In 1837, they signed the Treaty of Tafna, a significant diplomatic victory for the emir. The treaty recognized his authority over nearly two-thirds of Algeria. For a brief period, it seemed as if an independent Algerian state, living alongside a French coastal presence, was possible. But the peace was fragile. The French colonial ambitions were too great, and they violated the treaty in 1839 by marching through territory recognized as Abdelkader's. The war resumed, but this time with a horrifying new intensity. Frustrated by their inability to defeat the emir, the French generals adopted a scorched earth policy. They burned villages, destroyed crops, and massacred entire tribes suspected of supporting Abdelkader. This was a total war, designed to break the will of the Algerian people by terror and starvation. Despite the unimaginable brutality, Abdelkader's resistance continued. What truly set him apart during this dark period was his unwavering commitment to his principles of honor and humanity. He strictly forbade his soldiers from harming civilians, women, and children. He insisted that prisoners of war be treated with respect, in stark contrast to the French army's actions. On one famous occasion, when he captured a group of French soldiers, he learned they were Christians. He not only ensured their safety but also arranged for a priest to hold mass for them, reminding his own followers that their faiths shared a common reverence for God. His chivalry became legendary, earning him the admiration of many Europeans, including his enemies. Victor Hugo, the famous French writer, called him a mysterious and brilliant star. For over 15 years, Abdelkader led this incredible resistance. But by the mid-1840s, the sheer might of the French war machine and the devastating impact of their total war strategy began to take their toll. His allies were depleted, his people were starving, and his base of support in neighboring Morocco was cut off. Faced with the annihilation of his people, Abdelkader made the heart-wrenching decision to surrender in 1847. He did so to spare them further suffering, negotiating terms that would allow him and his family to go into exile in the Middle East. The French, however, broke their promise once again. Instead of being sent to Alexandria or Acre as agreed, Abdelkader was imprisoned in France for nearly 5 years. Even in captivity, his dignity and intellect impressed all who met him. He spent his time studying French, philosophy, and politics. His plight became a cause célèbre across Europe, with many public figures advocating for his release. Finally, in 1852, the newly empowered Napoleon III, admiring the Emir's character, ordered his freedom. Abdelkader chose to live in Damascus, a city he had visited as a young man. He dedicated the rest of his life to scholarship and contemplation, becoming a respected Sufi mystic and teacher. But his story has one final, extraordinary chapter. In 1860, a civil war erupted in the region, and sectarian violence broke out in Damascus. Mobs were targeting the Christian population. While many stood by, the 52-year-old Abdelkader, the man who had fought a Christian nation for 15 years, did not hesitate. He rallied his personal guard of fellow Algerian exiles, opened his home as a sanctuary, and personally escorted thousands of Christians to safety, shielding them with his own body. He is credited with saving as many as 10,000 lives. For his heroism, he received honors from around the world, including France's Grand Cross of the Legion of Honor and a gift of inlaid pistols from President Abraham Lincoln. He had shown the world that his principles of human dignity and compassion were universal, extending beyond faith or nationality. Emir Abdelkader passed away in 1883 in Damascus. His life was a testament to the idea that one can be a fierce warrior for freedom while also being a profound man of peace and a great humanitarian. He laid the groundwork for the Algerian national identity and became an enduring symbol of resistance against injustice. His legacy is not just one of military struggle, but of intellectual depth, spiritual guidance, and a profound respect for all humanity. He remains a global icon of courage, honor, and compassion. Thank you for watching. If you found this story as inspiring as we do, please like this video, subscribe to our channel for more stories of incredible historical figures, and share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you.